Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Tuplex, and it's a few minutes before 7 a.m. here at Felsbrunn. I finished up the potato harvest yesterday. I ended up with about 2.5 loads of potatoes just from this small field. So, like I said before, the yield on potatoes and sugar beets as well is quite high. You get a lot of material off of a relatively small amount of land. And the value per 1,000 liters is fairly low compared to the other crops, but you do generate quite a lot of it, so that kind of evens it out. So I made about $57,000, I think, euros rather. So we're doing good there. Definitely more than made back the leasing cost of that potato harvester, so that's good. And then when I finished up, I took the tipper over there to be repaired. It's been washed up. And I decided to fast forward through the night so that we could start a new day. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess that the animals made overnight. I've got my head tracking on today. Kind of misusing that. But to use the bucket, I kind of need to do third person so I can see where it is. There we go. So you'll notice that when you pick up the mess left behind by the cows, it comes out as silage, not TMR. And when you put it back in, you get silage as well. So that's not ideal, I would say, but that's the way that it is. So if we take a look at our cows, 18%. Yeah, I think that's a bug. Let's wait until the game's had a chance to run for a few more minutes, and we'll check it again. We've got close to 2,000 liters of milk from about one day. So I think I'll not sell milk today. I'll wait until tomorrow. We'll have about 4,000 liters. That should make it more than worth the trip. But we're doing good on water, straw, and food. So I don't think we'll need to do much else with the cows today, besides just keeping these pens clean. Okay, so you can see that our field is covered with weeds now, and the other field is also covered with weeds. But that's okay because we haven't prepped them yet, and as we go through our field prep, that'll take care of the weed problem. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is put some lime on this field. This field needs lime and plowing, as you can see from the field info. So what I'm going to do is I'll start by spreading lime, and then once the lime gets put on, we'll plow it. So I'm going to have to go get a plow. I think I might just lease the plow rather than buying it. Just because we're not going to have a lot of use for a plow besides just these occasional plowing jobs. And I need my spreader. Here we go. All right, and it's got fertilizer in it. So, why don't we fertilize first, and then we'll put down the lime. And that way we'll use up some of the fertilizer I have in here. So I can minimize the amount that I need to dump out. I think that's about right. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, and I think both of these fields, I think this one needs a full a full application of fertilizer as well. It needs everything. Yeah, neither of my fields have any fertilization on them right now. So, all right, so we'll let this run a minute, and we'll choose a plow. Now, I've got, let's see, my Puma has 225 horse. Here are the plows. All right, so I think that plow is the biggest one I can pull with 225. Yeah, it is. Now we could buy that for 14,000, and then we would have something for joining and expanding fields. And then we also have the subsoiler, which is less expensive, and this will go quicker. I can pull that one. That's the one that I purchased at the beginning of the game. I think I'll wait to buy a plow until I can get a bigger one. And that way we can do corn and stuff like that and be able to plow in between harvests. So that plow is kind of expensive, and you also need 300 horsepower to pull it. So yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll just lease the subsoiler. Yeah, it'll only cost me $484. Okay, looks like that'll about do it. Great. Actually, why don't we go ahead and fertilize the other field too while we're at it. We'll have to add a bit more. Oops. There we go. That should be enough. I like having this head tracking. I kind of miss it. It's a little bit less convenient because you have to kind of maintain your head in a relatively stable position in relation to the to the little infrared camera that picks up. So you can't sit back and lounge around like you could if you're just using the controller by itself. But when I'm recording an episode, I need to stay close to the mic anyway, so it's not really a big deal. All right. Good. All right, and this field, yeah, this field does not need any lime. We just need fertilizer. So we'll let that run. I think at some point soon I'm going to buy this Axis direct attach fertilizer spreader and just use it for fertilizing. And the reason is it's got a 24 meter width, which is wider than you can get with either of these. Even with the spreading unit. With the spreading unit, you get 18 meters. And one thing that I learned recently on YouTube from another video that I saw is that the fertilizer and lime comes out of the spreader at a constant rate, no matter how wide it is. So if you have a wider spread, then you'll end up using less fertilizer on your field than you would if you didn't. You might also notice these couple mods by Stevie, or Sreevy. Looks like there's a typo there. Stevie's a great mod creator, and I downloaded a mod pack of his. He's modified some of these with small adjustments, like this one, for example. It's got a higher capacity and a faster speed, 27 kph instead of 20. And he added color choice, right? So you can change the color if you want. I don't have enough money, but and on this one, on the small one, he added the ability for it to use lime, but it still only has 3200 capacity, so I don't think it would be good for lime anyway, just because it wouldn't last very long. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, well, it looks like I'm going to have to do some some cleanup. All right, so I'll let it finish this pass. In the meantime, let's get this tipper put away. Whoops. This tipper is actually a little bit hard for me to drive backwards because it's got the rear wheels of it steer, and that makes it a little more sensitive to steering inputs. And I'm not that precise in my in my steering. Okay, close that. And I think while I'm here, I'll refuel. Really like having this fuel tank here. Makes it very convenient. Okay. Let's go get our plow, and we'll start plowing this field. Oh, I do want to get the lime on it first, actually. So we'll get the plow, wait for the lime, and then we'll put it down, and then that way I'll just need to seed, and then I can spread fertilizer on it again, and it'll be all set. I won't have to use a sprayer. Is this the right side? I think so, yeah. There was a question in the comments on one of my earlier episodes about how how you can look behind you with head tracking and still see the monitor. And it's a good question, but the head tracking angle is it's not a 1-to-1 ratio between how far you turn your head and how far the view changes. So in other words, if I need to turn my head about, I don't know, about 45 degrees in order to see completely behind me in the game. So that way I can still see the screen out of the corner of my eye. It does make it difficult just to drive backwards for a long time because you have your head turned, but that's how it works. And with Track IR, there's an app that comes with it that allows you to map. You can map any kind of curve that you want for input to output ratios. Whoops. So it's highly customizable. All right, we should be going the other way now. Let's stop. And we'll start going this way. I guess I'll just drive myself at this point, since we're going to have to finish this before I can get the lime on that other field. Right, so the plan is to plant soybeans on this field and wheat on the new field. And then once I have all the equipment to make silage bales and collect them off the field, then I'll turn that other field to grass. and we'll just keep that as our meadow for the cows to make hay and silage bales. And then all the extra silage bales that we get from it that we don't need for the cows we'll sell, and should be able to make a decent profit with that. Yeah, so a couple episodes ago, I was mentioning this other map that I was toying around with, and I was thinking about doing a second series using that other map. But and I've gotten some feedback from a few of you that were interested in seeing it. But after giving it some more thought, I think that might be a little too much for me to handle. So I think I'm just going to stick with this one. I feel like we're starting to make good progress now that we've gotten over some of the initial grind. We're getting good money off of this field. We've got another field now, which will give us even more income every harvest cycle. The cows are going to help a bit. They'll help more when we have more of them, but a couple thousand every couple days for doing very little work is pretty good. And I'm missing a few spots there. I've talked about GPS mod before, which is what I would normally use for this type of job, but I read on one of the forums that GPS is perhaps not going to be released for FS19, but that somebody was working on a replacement for it. So if it doesn't come out, that will be unfortunate, but I guess if somebody can come up with something just as good, then that'll be fine. All right, looks like we'll need maybe 2 more passes here. And then we'll go fill up with lime. I wish my multi-silo, where I get the fertilizer and stuff, I wish it had the ability to take back the extra so that I didn't have to have those pallets sitting around. I think that would be a cool feature. Okay. I'm not going to stress too much about these little missed, these few strips that I missed there. Won't have a big impact on my overall yield. All right, and then this one, I think I'm going to have to go all the way down and... yeah, and I'll need to get a little bit... I'll need to go back and get a bit at the north end of the field, too. I'm wasting a lot of fertilizer here. Okay, and there we go. Now we'll drive up to the north end of the field and get that little corner that the worker always seems to miss. There, great. All right, so this field is ready to be planted. Let's go start putting down some lime and then we'll get the plow started. Come here to my unloading spot. Okay, and then I'll fill up with these pallets here first, and then we'll top it off from the silo. I'm not sure if, yeah, I'm really not sure how much I'm going to need for this field. Might not need a full load, but we'll see. I think I'll just go ahead and fill it up. Alright, yeah, I can't see back there. Or tell you what, let's put in, we'll fill it up halfway. I think that's 8,000, 7,000. We'll go with 8. Okay. We'll see if 8,000 is enough. Okay. And then we can start the plow. All right, I'm going to set the worker on this, and we'll see how we're doing on our lime supply. Looks like we'll have enough to finish here. We've used a little over 4,000, and we've got more than half the field done. Okay. All right, good. Okay, now I wonder if my New Holland can run the seeder while I'm doing the plowing. 180. And I think I've got 170. 175. That's pretty close. I think we'll give it a try. Although the New Holland could for sure pull the plow. $140. Okay. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is when I'm finished with the lime, I will put the New Holland on the plow to finish this job, and then I'll get the case over to the other field to start planting the soybeans. Okay, great. And we've got less than a pallet left over, which won't clutter up our yard too much. Looks like there's a little tiny strip at the edge that didn't get any lime, but that's fine. I'm going to leave it. All right, so we'll empty here. There we go. And we'll go park this. Definitely need third-person view for this. Because as you all know, I'm a terrible reverser. Okay, there we go. Good enough. All right, and for the plowing job, I'm going to customize this tractor a bit. I think we're going to need different wheels. Rear twins. Now we're ready to do some plowing. It looks considerably more serious with this wheel setup than it did with the narrow tires, doesn't it? Okay, so we'll fire our worker. I'll just put the plow into position and drop it. Get out of the way. Sit up a bit so I can see the hitch, or the linkage rather. Very nice. No problem there. Okay. Let's go get our seeder and start planting some soybeans. And let me know what you guys think about the head tracking. If you prefer watching the videos with or without, I'm happy to do it either way, based on your preference. Okay, I don't think I need to fill it. I think we're good for now. Let's see. Soybeans. There we go. You know what? Let's go ahead and fill it up. I don't want to I don't want to run out like when I'm almost done with the job. Because every crop uses seed at a different rate, so even though with canola I didn't even use half of what I had, soybeans might use more seed than canola does. Actually, I think it does use more seed than canola does. All right, I'm going to do a couple rows up and down here. All right, looking good. And to go in a straight line, I've been advised that you pick a point in the distance and keep looking at it. So I'm looking right now at the door of that house up there. And hopefully that'll keep me going fairly straight. See how I'm doing. Nope, I'm drifting a bit to the right. Maybe that wasn't the right point to pick. Yeah, it looks like I missed a little bit there on the edge. Well, again, not a big deal, but maybe I'll come and touch it up when I'm done. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I know it was like this in 17, and I'm assuming it's the same in 19, but when you're running a seeder, if you go over a pass that is not full width, then I don't think you use... I think you only use enough seed to plant the part that you missed. So it shouldn't waste seed if you go over, at less than full width if you go over an area. Again, that's my understanding. They may have changed it, but it was that way at one point at least. All right, and I'm going to start this first pass. Moved over to the right a bit just because the edge of the field here shifts to the right, and hopefully we'll be lined up properly by the time we reach it. I think I might need to get over a little bit more. Yeah. Let's move over about another foot or two. There we go, and we'll set the worker on that. Nice. Wonderful. And our plowing is going quite well. New Holland's got no problem with it. I'm not sure how much of an effect the tire choice has actually on the physics in the game, but I guess I'll say that I haven't really experienced a big difference, although I was reading in the forums that some people have noticed a difference in traction and acceleration, using wider tires or twin tires. So anyway, I'll continue to do whatever seems appropriate for the task at hand. And we'll just have faith that it makes a difference. I guess the real test would be to try to plow with skinny tires and then try to plow with twin tires and see if I can actually see the difference. A little late for that. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.